Hello there guys, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. We're nearing the end now and today I'm going to be talking to you about Biniyam and Ariela. And you guys have had a lot to say about this couple this season and it's been very up and down, in fact more down than up. But today is a big day for Ariela. Her mum's finally leaving and we find out that Dr. Weinberg has already left a few days earlier because he had to get back to work. Interestingly enough, he left right after he met Biniyam's sisters. Coincidence? I think not. He felt the need to separate them by a few continents. Baby Avi's provisional religion, Orthodox, was called into question by Dr. Weinberg, but Ariela confirmed that she was going ahead with everything. So guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, all that stuff. It does make a difference and thank you to everyone who's done so thus far. I really do appreciate it. Right, without further ado, I'll give you Ariela and Biniyam. And when we meet up with this couple, we can see that Janice is packing and Ariela tells us that she's leaving today. Janice gives Biniyam a warm hug and tells him to look after her grandson. He promises he will, and Ariela goes off to the airport to see her mum off. And Janice of course is extremely upset and she said, "I'm absolutely gutted. I feel like I won't see him grow up. I usually have my grandsons all around me." And she goes on to say, "In the 4 months since you've been here, Ariela, I've come to the conclusion that this is not a good place for my grandson to grow up, and I'm not sure that you're happy." And at this point I need to say Janice for the win. Janice is absolutely no nonsense and she just says it exactly how it is. But Ariela tells her mum, "I'm okay." What? Permission to speak? Right, the Ebird thinks that's actually impossible. Ariela's either unbelievably elated about something or hopelessly depressed about something. She can't just be okay. We've never seen it before. I don't believe it to be possible. Janice, for her part, doesn't believe her and she makes some very good points. Firstly, she tells her, "I know that you were pressured into the baptism and that worries me greatly." And for what it's worth, Biniyam did put a lot of pressure on her. But Ariela did agree quite quickly to the baptism, and she also told production, and us, that because she doesn't believe it, it doesn't bother her so much. They're merely just splashing water on the baby's head. And secondly, Janice points out there's lots and lots of major differences that she's really worried about between the couple. And I find that to be true, there are. Of course, standards of living are different, and what Biniyam does for a living isn't really, I don't think, to Ariela's liking. And also, as we know, a big difference is the roles between men and women. Biniyam thinks he can go missing without letting Ariela know where he is. And thirdly, Janice says there's too much family pressure and there's no support for Ariela's opinions. And I find this to be completely true. Whenever Biniyam wants something, he brings his sisters around and his family to help Ariela understand why whatever it is that he wants to do is best for the baby. And it does seem as if she has virtually no support for any of her ideas or anything that she wants. And then finally Janice points out the lack of communication is always going to be a problem. And she said it's been 4 months since she was last here and the communication between Ariela and Biniyam is absolutely no better than when they first arrived. But Ariela points out to her mum, "I want to live as a family. I want my son to know his dad." And then Janice said, "Well, whatever you need, whatever you decide, let Daddy and I know and we'll help you in whatever way we can." And so I think overall it's really good that Janice is her mum, because even though she's saying, "I don't think it's right," she said, "We'll support you in whatever you want to do, Ariela." And they've made it clear they're going to help to financially support them as well, which I definitely think is what Ariela needs at the moment. But next time we see this couple, it's the big day. Yep, baby Avi is going to be baptised today, and they have to leave very, very early. And Ariela tells us it's so difficult having to wake up before the sun rises. And as they're sitting in the car, Ariela says to Biniyam, "I know this is a very special day for you, so you need to keep reminding me because it's a very difficult day for me." And Biniyam then said, "Well, Ariela, it's for our culture. It's imperative we do this baptism to save the baby from the devil." Shout out to Lucifer. He just couldn't help it, could he? Oh, Biniyam, if Ariela's told you once, she's told you a million times. She doesn't want to hear about hell, the devil, or any negative things. But kudos to Ariela because she doesn't say it, she just rolled her eyes. And then Biniyam said, "I don't want you to freak out." And secretly, he thinks she's going to grab the baby and she's going to run out of there before he can become baptised. And Ariela said, "I wouldn't have gotten up so early and put on all my special dress if I wasn't going to go through with it. I think you should just chill out." Yeah, Ariela, I hear what you're saying, but let's be fair, you have got form now, haven't you? But Biniyam for his part said he knows it's a big deal to Ariela because she's Jewish. And he said it's really important for me and my family that he's baptised, and I'm very grateful that she's even agreed to do it. So guys, as far as I was concerned, this is him sort of showing that he realises this is a big ask. And this is something really important that Ariela has acquiesced to, so he is at least really grateful to her. And next they arrive at the church, and Ariela lets us know Biniyam has not told me what to expect or how to prepare, so I'm going in completely blind. Quite simply, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh good lord guys, this is one of the typical 90-day fiancé complaints that we have from so many different couples. Nobody knows what's happening. Newsflash, you would know what's happening if you just asked the questions. And we've heard exactly the same from so many other people. Deavan's getting married this week and she tells us, Jihoon hasn't told me anything about the ceremony. I don't know how long it's going to be, where I've got to go, what I've got to do. I just know nothing. Then you refuse to go until you know. Last season, Lisa and Usman. Lisa had no idea what was required for her paperwork to get divorced in Nigeria. Why not? Why don't you know? Because Usman hasn't told me. Benjamin, from Benjamin and Akini fame, had no idea what the bride price ceremony was supposed to be. Whether he was supposed to get a week's shopping, a decade's payments of an unspecified amount, or a lifetime's misery. He had no idea. Benjamin, just say that you're not going until you know. And when Avery was getting married to Omar, she didn't realise that she'd bought a beautiful wedding dress and there was absolutely no point because she was going to have to cover it in a brown hooded sack for her wedding ceremony. She had no idea that her husband-to-be was going to be saying his wedding vows to another man. Come on guys, take some responsibility. All of these people had an opportunity to 1. Ask their partner, or 2. Say, right, that's it, because I'm not sure what's happening, I'm not going. I will go only when I know what the situation is. There is no excuse for this, and you can't blame it all on Biniyam. At least some of the blame should fall upon you, Ariela, because you should have asked the question. So they all sit down, and Ariela's sitting on the front row, and she tells us Biniyam's sisters are sitting behind to help guide her. Really? Oh god, the Ebird can only imagine. Okay, Ariela, put your face over the font, dip until it gets into the water, and then breathe deeply 3 times. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. But anyway, it was quite an interesting ceremony. So the pastor came in and he rubbed the Bible in the face of everybody. What? The one thing Ariela said is she didn't want to have her face rubbed in it. Well, I guess nobody would have realised you were unhappy, Ariela. There would have been no way for us to know. They then sang and prayed. Then they stripped and dipped the baby and rubbed him with ointment. Then they wrapped him in bread and ate the bread. Apparently the bread signifies health and good fortune. And I think I've in fact tasted that bread. I think it's like spongy and lemony tasting. If it is that one, I wasn't really a fan, but I digress. Baby Avi looked hella cute, all wrapped up in the bread. He's the most beautiful baby ever to be on 90 Day Fiancé, and I'll take no discussion on this. When the ceremony was over, everybody decided to get up and they were all dancing and everyone was so happy. Wish, Biniyam's sister, told production, Ariela behaved so well today. We were all so scared, but I was so surprised at how good she was. I'm really, really happy. And as a direct result of this, I'm taking a day off from treating her like inconvenient scum. And I didn't really like the way that Wish was saying, I've never seen her behave like this, as if to say she's finally behaving properly. And this leads me to the not unreasonable conclusion that Biniyam's been shit-talking Ari to his sisters. And Biniyam told us, yeah, I was really scared that she was going to push the priest, snatch the baby and run out of the church. And I'm so glad she didn't. And even though Ariela didn't look that happy throughout the ceremony, she managed to keep a lid on it. Well, kind of. And she said at the end, even though I was 100% pressurised into baptising baby Avi, I will hold the memories of Biniyam's family being so happy in my mind forever. And all in all, that's an extremely nice sentiment. Whatever we may say about Ariela, and let's be fair, I've said quite a bit, she did come over to Ethiopia to make sure that Biniyam was present at the birth, and she has made sure that he's baptised so that Biniyam and his family were happy. So she has made a lot of sacrifice for the good of her young burgeoning family. And so that's everything for this week. So what does the Ebird make to it all? Well, I think that things are going to get really bad for Ariela now because there's no longer the hope of seeing her parents. So when she first came over, she knew, I'm going to have a few weeks here, then I have the baby, then in another few weeks my parents come. That is now gone and she doesn't next know when she's going to see her parents. And also I think they're going to find themselves in financial issues, and I know it's going to be a problem to her because each time she asks her parents for money, I think they're going to try and put pressure on her to come home. So I couldn't help but notice when they first moved there, they looked at an apartment and it was $1,400 per month. That's quite expensive. And they do need more space where they live. and Biniyam told us he earns $500 or $600 a month, so he falls somewhat short of what they need to live comfortably in Addis Ababa. So I definitely see financial problems in their future. Even though Ariela claims to be in love with Binny and he claims to be in love with her, I'm not 100% sure if it's love. I think they're very fond of each other, but I don't see any absolute spark between them or any particularly touching moments between the two, and I find that somewhat problematic. However, this might well be remedied by them moving to the States if it's at all possible, because I think that because Ariela feels a little bit depressed at the moment, that's having a massive effect on the whole of the relationship. The whole situation at the moment, I think, is messier than Deavan and Jihoon's bedroom. They have no real way to make money. Baby Avi doesn't have a garden, they don't have enough money to live. Ariela has no friends or no particular life outside of the baby. Biniyam's family aren't that welcoming to Ariela. Biniyam does a job which takes him out of the home every night of the week, and so there are lots and lots of problems to be remedied. And even though she decided to go and live in Ethiopia, decisions are mercurial, and I personally think it would serve this couple well to try to move to the US and for Ariela to try and apply for the K1 visa. So apparently, Biniyam was denied a visa several times when he was with his ex-wife, but that I think is a J1 visa. There's a different visa for when you're already married. So it's still entirely possible that he might be accepted for the K1 visa. I think it's worth a shot. So guys, let me know what you think. What do you see in the future for this couple? Do you think they'll stay together? Do you think they'll be happier in America? And do you think, as I do, that Ethiopia is a really difficult place to live for someone like Ariela? Because I can't imagine what kind of job she's going to do there, with a young baby and not that much support. And I believe this relationship will disintegrate if Ariela keeps on Veru consulting and Biniyam keeps on late night cavorting. Something's got to change. So guys, as usual, let me know your thoughts in comments and I'll be back very soon with another video. Just very quickly, in case I don't see you before, happy Thanksgiving to all my American listeners, and I hope you have a great day on Thursday. I'll be thinking of you tucking into turkey whilst I'm eating my ramen noodles out of a plastic tub. So it just leaves for me to say, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, please press the like button, and I'll see you soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.